Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Who Stuff. Now, you may be a little bit shocked to see and, well, hear my voice. I know it is not my turn in the schedule, but due to various reasons, you've got me. First of all, I would just like to apologise on behalf of myself and obviously the other 4 boys in the group that we haven't uploaded in a good few weeks. We've been extremely busy now that we're back in school and whatnot. Some of us, including myself, have some very important exams on the horizon, so it is quite a tricky time for all of us really, so sorry about that. Also, just a quick note to say sorry about if this video is a little bit rushed or untidy. I am actually recording this about an hour before it's due to go out, so apologies. But as you can probably tell by the title and what's in front of you, I'm going to be going through my favourite story from each Doctor. So without further ado, let's just crack on. So kicking off, the William Hartnell era, we have The Keys of Marinus. What a brilliant story. Now this story is very close to my heart, because this was the first ever 60s story I saw, and one of the first ever classics that I saw. And it's just such a brilliant tale. It's basically the key to time in 6 little parts, and I think it's so brilliant. Every part is unique, the pacing's great, all the cast are on top form, apart from Susan, who is a little bit annoying in some places, but it's just such a cool adventure. And if you have not checked out this story, I really recommend you do. It's one of the first, it's in season 1, and it's just so cool and quite underrated, I think. So if you're into that, especially if you're into obviously the key to time, this one is probably for you. Moving on to the second Doctor, we have the epic 10-parter that closed off season 6, The War Games. What can I say about The War Games? God, I watched this years ago for the first time, but then I rewatched it again this year in my DVD collection that I actually posted a few months ago. I actually began to watch this story about a couple of days after I posted that video, and I wish I gave it more praise. It's an absolutely phenomenal story. Yes, it's 10 parts. Yes, it does drag in the middle parts, but I just think it's so consistent, so gripping. I would love to just watch this all in one go when I have the time, Brilliant. All the cast are on top form. The Warlord is brilliant. The War Chief is amazing. So this is just an awesome story, especially if you're a Troughton fan. Moving on to the third Doctor now, we do have The Daemons. I watched this for the first time a couple of years ago. I know, a bit late to the party, but oh my god, it's so brilliant. I think this is 5 parts, and this is the Pertwee era, basically. It has everything a Pertwee story needs. An Earth-based cool villain, the Master's in it, Joe's in it, some driving is in it. It's just really awesome, and quite dark and creepy as well. So if you're into that sort of awesome Pertwee horror gothic-ish ness, then I highly recommend this one, because I don't hear enough people talking about it. Moving on to the fourth Doctor, we have one of my favourite stories of all time, The Towns of Wangchang. What can I say? This story is absolutely phenomenal. I've watched this about 3 times in the last year, and I could watch it many more times, honestly. I think Lee Sen Chang is the most underrated villain ever, so creepy. Mr. Sin, brilliant. Magnus Greel, brilliant. Leela, brilliant. And it comes from an awesome season, which is season 14, and I'm so happy to have it on Blu-ray, and it looks brilliant on Blu-ray. Yes, it has some issues such as the giant rat and the mild racism, but that was the 1970s. You can't do anything about that, unfortunately. But it is such a brilliant tale, and it's totally down my street. This is an era of history that I just love, so what can I say? Brilliant story. Moving on to the Peter Davison era now, we have a story that I rewatched a couple of months ago and I adore. It's Earthshock. Now, I think in my DVD collection I must have said something like, yeah, it's okay, it's a good story. and when I when I rewatched this one a couple of months ago, I found myself highly enjoying it. Just brilliant stories of Earth and a little bits on the ship as well. Pacing is brilliant for 4 parts. I think I watched this in maybe one. Oh no, I think I watched this in two and two. So brilliant. Just what can I say? Davison is very good in this, and this should have been the end of season 19, but no, they decided to have Time Flight as the end of season 19. So if you're a Davison fan, I recommend this one a lot. Moving on to the 6th Doctor's era now, we do have Vengeance on Varos. Oh, absolutely phenomenal story. Really love this one. 2 45-minute parts. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of that format, but with this story, I can let it off. It's genuinely one of my favourite stories ever, and Colin is amazing in it. And I know this is a very Marmite story, so you might love it, you might hate it. But I think another thing that I love about it is the villain, which is Syl. Just, oh, so awesome. One of my favourite villains of all time. If only he could return and meet Jodie, because that would just be amazing. Moving on to the 7th Doctor era now, we do have the amazing Curse of Fenwick. Now, anyone who knows me remotely will know that the 7th Doctor is my favourite Doctor of all time. And this is why. If you watch this story, I guarantee you will fall in love with the 7th Doctor, hopefully, unless you're weird. It's just such a dark, atmospheric story. To be honest, I won't lie to you, I don't know the plot, to be honest. Well, I do, but it's a complicated one, a bit like Ghostlight, but not as intense as Ghostlight, because I mean, can you even get more intense than Ghostlight? But yeah, brilliant story. The cast are amazing. The makeup on the Haemavors just looks damn creepy, and in a weird sort of way, I'd have loved this to be in the last classic story. I think it would have got a lot more praise, and it would have ended on a very weird note, but a nice note, I think. So that's the 7th Doctor. The 8th Doctor one is a bit different now, because obviously you'll probably be thinking of the movie, but I have jumped into Big Finish and I've gone for the Silver Turk. Now, I have not experienced pretty much any 8th Doctor on Big Finish. I've experienced the Silver Turk, the movie, the Sontaran ordeal, and some more to come, because I've actually just won a Doctor Who magazine competition about Big Finish and the 8th Doctor, but that's irrelevant. We're here to talk about the Silver Turk. Brilliant story. It does feel like The Haunting of Villa Diodati sort of just ripped this off a little bit with the Cyberman and Mary Shelley, but I must say, this is such a cracking tale, and a damn creepy one as well. If you're into sort of the Cybermen, if you're into the 8th Doctor, historicals, a little bit of a odd story, I'd really recommend this one. It's just brilliant, to be honest, and it's really just atmospheric, and it was from 2011, but honestly, it sounds like it was recorded today. The quality is brilliant. So, moving on to the New Who era, we go into the 9th Doctor, The Empty Child. Now, like I said with Talons, this sort of what would you call it, this Victorian era, but also obviously this is World War II, so just that sort of just darker era in history is I'm really fond of. Brilliant, just, oh, what can I say about this story? It's just absolutely mesmerising. Christopher Eccleston is on top form. The gas mask zombies look absolutely terrifying. It's action packed. You've got Captain Jack in there as well. Just an awesome story, and honestly, if you want a dark 9th Doctor story, I'd introduce, non-Whovians to this one, because it's really scary. I mean, I remember watching this 10 years ago, and I don't think I made it to the end, so if that doesn't say a lot, I don't know what does. Now, this one's a bit interesting, because Series 2, it's actually one of my least favourite stories of all time, but it happens to hold the absolutely brilliant gem that is the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. Now, I have chosen the Impossible Planet over the Satan Pit, like I chose the Empty Child over the Doctor Dances, because I just think this is the stronger part, but this is by far my favourite Tennant story. So underrated, this is the definition of a base under siege story done well. Honestly, it's so creepy. I could only probably watch this about 5 years ago or something whilst making it to the end, but I can't wait to just show my friends this story because they're gonna get a little bit of a fright. I mean, who knows, to be honest, who knows. But yeah, Tennant's okay, and actually, no, he's more than okay. He's very decent in this. Rose, I know she gets lots of slack in series 2 because obviously they're romantic stuff, but this doesn't come into play too much in this story, which is good. Otherwise that would probably lower the score down. But just a really, really well written story. I mean, I don't know what else to say, to be honest. Moving on to the 11th Doctor now, it's another two-parter, but obviously I've chosen the first half, which is The Time of Angels. Now this might be an odd choice, but I actually remember watching this when it first came out. I was only a little chap. I was about 5 or 6, but just I don't know what it was about this story, but I must have remembered it for a good reason. It does have River Song in, and I'm not a fan of River Song. However, she is at her best in this story. You know, there's no flirting too much with the 11th Doctor or anything like this. It's just a really creepy tale. Obviously this half is set in like the caves, or the Byzantium. I mean, I don't know what that is. Yes, I do. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But it's just a very, very creepy tale. And the scene with Amy in the room as the angel sort of appears in front of her, terrifying, absolutely terrifying, but a brilliant story, and I love to rewatch this one just whenever. Moving on to the 12th Doctor, it's the start of the Series 10 finale, World Enough in Time. What can I say? This story is so epic. The only thing that would have made it even better if it was all kept a bit of a surprise, because we were told that Johnson was returning, and we were told that the Mondasian Cybermen were back, but do you know what? Oh well. It still makes for an absolutely phenomenal story. It's so sad and depressing to see Bill killed. Bill killed, because I mean, you just wouldn't expect it to happen, but there you go, it just happens in front of your eyes, and this unfolds. So what can I say? If you've watched this story, I don't know a single person that doesn't at least like this story. If you don't like the story, I'd love to know. That would really interest me. And finally, moving on to the 30th Doctor. This one was a bit tough because I don't want to dwell on it too much, but I'm not a fan of the current era. But I think Kablam is a very good tale. It feels something about it is just classic-y to me, and very retro, and I really like that. The Kablam Man design, especially the one in this image here, just creepy but brilliant. Brilliant but creepy. I don't know what it is, but I'd love a little sequel to this story or something, or like a return to Kablam, or I don't know. But to me, this story is just so fun, and it does have its flaws. Admittedly, it does have its flaws, but as far as the Jodie Whittaker era goes, this is high up there for me. And I was a bit shocked actually, because this is from Series 11. Do I prefer Series 11 over Series 12? I would say they're about equal, to be honest. I prefer the stories in Series 11, but I prefer sort of like the characters and the Master in Series 12. But anyway, we're going really off topic now. But there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry that it was a bit messy, but I just wanted to sort of get this video out there to keep the channel alive, really, and to hopefully push for 100 subs soon, because we are on, I think, 69 that we're on at the moment. So maybe, you know, we can get, you know, chop chop, let's get to 100. Who knows what we're going to do there. But yep, thank you very much for watching, guys, and next week hopefully there might be a video, if not the week after. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.